Alright, so what's up, guys? Now you saw the title. Today I just want to talk about like how your identity can either ruin your life or change your life. So basically, like when I got into high school, like back in grade 7, like 2020, right? I was just like a friendly kid, outgoing kid. Just want to make friends and stuff like that, just some innocent stuff like that. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking about popularity or like, girls or anything like that. I was just saying, I kind of was just an innocent guy, right? So, came into high school and low key over the time that we had quarantine, I'd really like lost a lot of my socializing skills. And I also talk different from most of the other kids. Cause like we live in Jamaica, right? So most kids talk patois, but at the time I was speaking like proper English and stuff. Now I can talk patois like way better, but like at the time I just couldn't, bro. So yeah. Um, basically what happened is that like for the first month I didn't really have any friends, didn't really fit in with anyone, and that kind of took a toll on me. But it's whatever, but it's whatever. Um, after that, met my best friend right now. Um, not gonna mention his name, but yeah, I met my best friend, and I just saw him one day, and I was just tired of not having any friends, so I just went up to him and started talking. And like low key, I just have to thank God like every single day that I did that. But yeah, so I found my best friend. Then, eighth grade came around and stuff. Um, you know, met two more friends who were going to be my best friends right now. Not gonna mention their names either, but still thank God for putting those people in my life. And yeah, really, I was kind of like isolated from like most of my grade, cause like I was like kind of bullied for being like an earlier kid, and like the way I look, the way that I talk, just stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't really fit in. And going from being like an outgoing and friendly person, who's always making friends, to like kind of being forced to be like a more introverted person, that really just kind of takes a toll on you, right? But I was pretty happy. I was a pretty happy kid. Like, I didn't really mind it all that much, right? Didn't really mind it all that much. But yeah. After all that, um, grade 9 rolled around, stuff, right? And I think that was like when my friend group expanded the most, and we were having the most fun. Cause like even though like we're accepted by like the rest of the grade, but like who really cares, But like you're still having fun. You still have your friend group, your support system, all that, bro. Right? So you're chilling. You're chilling. Um, but what would basically end up happening after that now is like one of those life changing events that I was talking about, right? So what happened is that basically I used to always do like well in school, always do well in my classes and stuff like that. And I was in like I would always get like first in class, all of that. My teacher, like, she would always talk so highly of me, and like in the back of my mind, like I kind of knew that she wanted me to become something at my school that's called head boy, right? And basically, that's like the highest rank that any student can get, like in terms of like academically, right? So yeah, and like they're like the head of like all the student leaders at the school, and the student leaders at the school are called prefects, right? So it came around the time for prefect selection, and something happened with a teacher from before, right? Guys, if I'm taking a lot of pauses and stuff in this video, it's because like I'm feeling really anxious right now. So yeah, don't really mind that, but I'm kind of feeling anxious. Anyways, bro. So yeah, all of that was happening, and like uh the teacher, right? Me and my friends, like, we dropped a pencil or something, and like the pencil kept like falling from us, right? Like, but it was an accident, and like we found it pretty funny, and we started laughing, right? This teacher just started going crazy. Right, bro, saying like, "How dare you have fun in my class?" Blah 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 blah. Right? And then she started going on about how we look like some stupid ass kids, bro, right? We found that very funny because like we were some of the smartest kids in the class, right? So she told us that we couldn't come back to school unless we brought our parents. We didn't really listen to that. We came back to school the next day. She didn't do anything, right? And then some other thing happened. I don't even remember what the base of the argument was. But basically, how it ended is that she was saying that students who have bad behavior don't deserve to get academic achievements. I thought that was like pretty stupid, so I said that's not how it works, right? Because I believe that if you do well in an area just because of like your behavior, like I kind of get it to a point, like if you're being like insanely disrespectful, but like we're kids, bro. We're kids, like not gonna literally be perfect, right? So yeah, so I said, and I don't know, bro. She heard something else, bro. Come in, like, say, tell her if you go suck out her mother, right? Like, she took it very disrespectfully, bro, and she just withheld like her her strong feelings of dislike towards me until the day of the prefect selection, right? So on that day, that's when she decided to like just air it all out. She said, "Oh, I looked at her with like pure and utter disgust," in which I didn't do that, bro. I didn't do that, but yeah. So that's why I looked at her, and she just started going crazy, bro, in the staff room. Like all the teachers heard that, and I don't know, like when I got out of the staff room, like the level of like dread that I felt is like nothing like I've ever felt in my life. But like the wait, hold on. So yeah, as I was saying, bro, like, it was the worst like feeling of dread I'd ever felt in my life, and like you know, I like the next day I literally woke up like straight crying, like bawling my eyes out and stuff. Cause like I just thought that like all of my teachers were going to hate me now, but like I just thought like I don't know. It's just weird to explain. It felt like everybody in this staff room hated me, and like that. I don't even know how to explain it. Kind of like silent voice, like where you see the X's on people's face. Like, that kind of became the teachers for me. Like I don't know. Like I deadass felt like all my teachers absolutely hated my guts. Right? I was crying that day, and I was telling my mom I really don't want to go to school, but she said you have to go to school, nigga. So yeah, ended up going to school, and I feel like for about a week, like I was completely out of it for that entire week. Yeah, so like for that entire rest of the week, I was just completely out of it and stuff like that. And I don't really know if it was noticeable or not, bro, but I was just completely out of it. Then, um, prefect, like the results came through for the prefect selection, and then it's just like I had to relive it again. And like the thing that just makes it so much worse is just like because it's literally your identity, everybody's gonna be asking like oh, how didn't you get prefect? How didn't you get prefect? What happened? What happened? And like they say it like they care, but they just don't, right? They just want to hear about the new drama, right? That's literally what happens. Like everybody is going to be asking, oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? Because it's your identity and you didn't live up to what your identity holds. So now people are questioning your identity. Well, you yourself are also questioning your identity. Well, your teachers, your parents, everyone's questioning your identity. Right? So that's just how the entire thing felt. Then the teacher went on like this even crazier campaign to like destroy my identity, right? And I just wrote some bullshit because I do just be doing that sometimes, right? Like, if a teacher gives me an assignment and it's not graded, I would deadass just write bullshit, right? Cause like most of my teachers like F with me enough to just let it slide, but yo, apparently she didn't F with me enough to let it slide. So I was talking some bullshit about like bomb bomb Haiti, cause like Haiti's already, they're gone already. But no, not bomb Haiti, like bomb Dominican Republic, cause like they're right next to Haiti. Why don't they just help out Haiti? That's what I was thinking, right? But like, yeah, she didn't really agree with those viewpoints. I didn't agree with bombing people and stuff. And then there was something else that I wrote about, like being a promiscuous girl or whatever. That you're gonna go around getting destroyed by a bunch of guys, and then no one's gonna want you in the end, right? Or you're gonna get with a sub 5 cock, right, bro? Low key, that's what happened to me, bro. But like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen, right? So yeah, I wrote about those two things. She went in the damn staff room, started just like eviscerating my name, bruh. Eviscerating my name. Didn't even give me back my books. She was just going on a campaign to just, I don't know, destroy my identity or whatever, right? And low key, like, I don't really even know how I feel about that teacher right now, because it's not like I don't want to hold anything in my heart against someone, right? But like it kind of hurts that like in a sense I kind of know that she will never know like how much pain she caused me, and there's even a chance that she doesn't care about how much pain she caused me. But it's whatever, right? So in grade 10, right? I even like came second in class for the first time, and then my teacher started like saying some stuff. I don't remember, bro. I just remember feeling like my teacher was so disappointed in me, and she didn't even have any more hope left in me. I felt like everyone lost hope in me, right? And I was desperate to prove myself again. So like this was the first time I would ever say that I obsessed over something, right? So I literally studied obsessively. I studied so hard. Like I would come home, study, weekend study until like 1 in the morning, having to wake up like damn 4:30 in the morning, some shit like that. Like, that is how hard I was studying, right? I was studying to the point of literal sleep deprivation. Like I used to be a chronic gooner, bruh, right? Still kind of do goon, but like yeah, I used to do a lot more. And like when the whole thing with my teacher happened, I stopped for like a month. Then I started again. Then when I got obsessed with like the whole studying thing, I stopped again, like 4 months, right? And after that, um I was trying to get like a 85% average, right? And I did as far I could do that, right? But due to some unfortunate events that shit did not happen, I got like a 80 average, right? it's not bad. It's not a bad average, but like it's not what I wanted. And I also dropped the third in class. And like everybody was saying, "Oh, you can do better. You should have done better." And everybody's asking like, "Oh, how you dropped down to third now? You're at third now." Blah blah blah. Right? And at the time, it feels like that was like the point where I just kind of accepted that my identity was gone, and that was like the point where like the real depression started and the real spiraling started. Like that year, I did just got like I didn't have anything really to do, so I just played basketball. Then like in grade 11 was like really where like the peak of my depression happened really. And it's like the only thing that I cared about was like getting with girls, and yeah, that was literally it. That was the only thing I cared about, right? And when I couldn't do that, it would just make me get very like depressed and feel like nobody wants me, nobody cares about me. And then like I'd always be having fights with my parents and stuff like that. So that also helped to make it worse and stuff. But I just decided at the start of the year that I'd be on my red pill sigma bullshit grind set, all of that, bruh. And yeah, I just decided that I didn't want to be depressed anymore. And I know that shit sounds crazy, and that's not how it works, cause I still kinda am. But I'm just not at the like self-hatred point of it. Like I don't hate myself. I know that I'm gonna get better. But at the time I felt like there was no hope. I wasn't gonna get better. I just hated myself, right? But that's not how I feel anymore, right? And I'm just saying all of this to show you that I went from being like such a happy kid, right? I went from being such a happy kid, and then my identity got stripped from me, and I was thinking like, this is the only thing I have going for me, right? I'm literally known as like the nerdy ass kid, but like I don't have girls, I don't look good, I don't have money, right? The only thing that I had going for me was like my academic achievements. So when that got taken from me, it was like my world kind of just crumbled down, right? I'm just showing you that something that happened to me from in grade 9, losing my identity from in grade 9, caused me to have a spiral for years, literally years on end. And I'm still going through it right now. Still going through it right now. And it's just crazy that something like that, like losing your identity, can have such a massive impact upon you, right? Because there was this other creator, I don't remember his name right now, I'll probably put it at the end of the video, but he was talking about how like your identity plays a massive role on your actions, right? So like say Kylian Mbappe, right? Kylian Mbappe is a football player. He plays football. He's balling out in the World Cup. Like, do you think that Kylian Mbappe would just get up one day and say, "Huh, time to go to the NBA"? Like, no, that shit is not happening, bro. And I know that's like a extreme example, bro. But like, that's just what I think. So, say you have this kid, right? This kid here, kid A. Everybody's telling him like, "Oh, you're so talented, you're so smart, you're so this, you're so that." He's going to do what talented and smart kids do, right? Because that's his identity. You have kid B. You tell him he's a troublemaker, he's not good enough, he's dunce. He's going to do what a troublemaker and a dumbass does, right? That's just how shit works, bro. But I'm saying all of this so that now you can understand how your identity works. Really, your identity isn't really like, it's not a physical thing. It's something that was placed onto you based off like your abilities or what you do throughout your day, right? So if I decided, right, if I decided that I'm no longer a gooner, I am no longer depressed, I'm no longer like a loser, right? I decide that, hey, I'm a self-improvement YouTuber that helps out people like us, right? then that's what I'm going to become, because I decided that I'm going to change my identity. And since on a negative side, losing my identity can have such a massive impact upon me. But if I decide to take that negativity and turn it into positivity, right, and change my identity for the better, right, you can literally change your identity for the better by changing your actions. Because to me, your identity is based off what people think of you and what actions, like your actions, right? So change your actions, bro. Don't care about what the people think about you right now. Just change your actions and build an identity of whatever you want to craft, bro. Whatever you tell yourself that you are that thing for now, and you're going to change your identity for the better, right? Because you've seen how it could go on like a negative side, right? So we're gonna see how it can go on the positive side. And when I come back like probably 5 years later with 1 million subscribers and stuff, right? We'll see that it went good on the positive side, right? I'm taking you guys on that journey. Right now, this is kind of a fury, but we're gonna test the fury, man. So, yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Hope that you guys have a blessed day. Hope that all of you guys try and get better. And this was a hard video for me to make, as you can probably tell. I'm very anxious right now, but you know we're gonna get better together. We're gonna get better together.